Right, welcome back everyone. It's the dreaded time of year. I'm going to be turning another little birdhouse, but a little Christmas finial one. I'm going to do a finial on this one, just to show that you can do the finials with your carbide tools. Because although, yeah, you do your detail chisels, your spindle chisels, and you do a real fine grind on them, but it makes them very aggressive and can be a bit awkward to use, especially for new turners. So for you beginners, if you've got your carbide chisels, you can do your finials with your carbide chisels. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm going to do one of these. Now I know you've all seen me turn a birdhouse, so I'm going to do the birdhouse in the first video. I'm going to turn the video in the second one and put them together. So if you want to skip to the second video, because you've seen now to turn a birdhouse, then that's fine. Just skip to the second one. Right. So I'm going to get one of these turned. So I'm going to put that over there, out the way. Right, now then, before I start, for people that remembered, I did the one like this the other week with the hole. I drilled a 38mm hole and I put the 4 holes in. Now I held it on my chuck, my 38mm jaws internally, but I do find that sometimes when you get that turned down, it can split. And it's hard if you hold it on the outside as well, because when you turn it thin. And I had a friend of mine, Peter, was saying about doing one, so I did say to him, I'll just show him that quite often what I do is I use a jam chuck, a jam. I turn these and turn that to 38mm, and then when you've pre-drilled, because I do mine on the drill press, you can do it on your lathe, but when you've pre-drilled it, pop it on, nice and tight there, that's it. And that sits on that. Now if you bring your towel stock up, because with the birdhouses, I hang them, so I always put a hole in the end anyway, to put a screw eye in. So you can put that on, put your towel stock up for your main turning, and then when you want to just finish off your top, you can take your towel stock away and just finish the last bit. And then if you lock your spindle off, so it can't turn, a little twist, and they pop off. And you can turn down to the bottom. You're not going to hit your chuck or anything. Always leave a little gap there, so I can always take that down a little bit further if I get one that is a little bit loose. But they're all 38mm, so they're all the same size, and they just pop on. Okay, and just make it a bit easier, because they do tend to split when you get them down thinner. Right, now for the birdhouse today, I've got some bits of beech. I get loads of offcuts like this. Now I've already drilled an 8mm hole, and that 8mm hole, I did have one I marked here. Right, okay, let's get this one. That 8mm hole goes right up to there, because it's going to be inside the birdhouse, so I'm not worried about it. I'm not hollowing it out. It's just for a hanging decoration, as you see. So wherever I part that off, the finial will be able to go in. Right. So there we are, we're held in the chuck. I'm going to bring my towel stock up, because it will give me a bit of support at first. So I'm not massively out from the chuck, but I'm out enough that it causes a bit of vibration. Okay, so let's get this little birdhouse turned first. And as usual, I'm going to be using my carbide tools. Right, and I've got some new chisels to show you a bit later as well, that I've brought out this week. So which they're really good. Right, okay. Let's start turning this. I'm going to just get it turned down, get rid of some of the wood first. So I'm going to use the square. I've already turned it to round there. Now what I'm going to do is use my parting tool. I've actually treated myself this week. I've done myself a new parting tool as well. Right, now I'm going to go in about that far, and I'm going to have this about like this. turn some of that away. That just gives me a bit of room to come in with the bottom. Right, square chisel, get this down to size. And leave it a little bit wider in the middle because I want a top belly on it. Right, I'm going over to my round chisel, start getting the roof done. Rolled over. Probably going to bring that roof down a bit actually. I think I've got a bit too high a roof there actually. I don't want the roof that high. I think I'm going to come down to about here. So I'm going to say that's where I'm going to part that off in a minute. Just going to bring this down a bit. Chisel rolled over. So you get a nice clean cut. Right, I'm going to part that little bit off first. So I need to drill a hole in the end. Myself a little starting point. I think I'll do that with squares. Get a little starting point for the drill bit. There we go. Now I just have my drill bit in a chuck and I can just hold it. There we go. And I'll just gently push it in. That's it. That's going to have my screw eye put into it. Okay, now I'm going to just bring the tail stock back up, just because it gives me a little bit of support. Helps to stop it making too much noise. And when you're new turning, it's best to use whatever you can. So I don't need a high, really pointy top. There. Oh, that's a beautiful finish. I'll show you that in a minute. Right, now what I want to do is get this down. Right, now I'm going to use the detail chisel, this one to cut that slightly. Just cleans that little bit of that roof up, that sides it up. I'm just undercutting. Just makes the roof sit over that little bit. We'll be using this to come down here, take some of this away as well. But before I do too much of that, I've got to drill this. Now, let me just come round here. Right, that's a nice finish there. Well, I'm going to stop that for a minute. Oh, look at that. I hope you can see that finish on that. You know, that doesn't even need sanding because I'm painting these. That's going to need such a little bit of sanding. That's beautiful. Right. Well, there we go. Look at that. We've got a nice little shape on that. So I'm going to block my tailstock off. My headstock at that. Sorry, headstock, not tailstock. Tailstock's the other end.
Don't know one end from the other.
No, I'll get it right one day. I do know them. Right. I'm just using a 10mm drill bit. There we go. That bit into the hole that's going straight up through the centre. So it's pretty much hollowed out quite a bit anyway. Enough of what I want. Right, now try and get this centre out there. That's it. That's just for me little peg. And now for the little pegs, I buy these little bamboo skewers. I cut a little bit and that will fit in there. Just tap in nice. It's quite tight. They're 3mm and I do a 2.5mm, so it fits in really nice and tight. And that does my little pegs. Saves all that turning them down and turning all those little bits. And yeah, when you want to turn a few of these, you don't want to spend all that time. Right, back to the round chisel. We've just got to do a little clean up cut from where we drilled. So we're coming round, chisels rolled over. Remember, handle down, get on the bevel. Such a fine cut. I mean, that is it. And now I'm going to just come round here, clean that up, round to the bottom. Hope you can see that. Right, now I'm going over to the detail chisel. So I am going to actually use the parting tool first. Now you've got to remember, there's an 8mm hole running up through that, so don't go too far. Yeah, I just want to clear enough, get enough of a clearing, so I can come round and get this shape done with my detail chisel. Now remember, I want a little flat on the bottom because I'm going to be putting a finial on there. Now I'm coming in. Now you've got to be very careful when you're rolling your detail chisel up, remembering that if you've got it up there and it catches this side, it's going to give you quite a nasty catch. That's what I want my flat to be, so just using the chisel just to round this there and get in nicely. I want a pot belly like that, a rounded bottom. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of sanding on that. Going to start with 180 grit. Just because I'm going to be painting it. Lisa paints them afterwards. Give me sanding, little sanding disc over. Alright. Do a little 240. As you can see, I'm not spending much time, don't need to. Those chisels give such a clean finish. And you roll them over. 320, 240, 400, 600. And that'd be it. 400. There we go. Right, that's that done. Now, I'm coming again a little bit with the parting tool. careful because I don't want to part it off at the moment. I still just want to come in a little bit here. But I want that flat, just a slight flat on the bottom where the finial is going to come into. Right, that's going to be about it. So I'm now going to part that off. So I'm going to wind that back, move it out of the way. And I'm going to come down with my parting tool very gently. There we go, a little bit of tear out, but that's right, because I'm going to clean that off. And what I always do is I always use my little skew for that. Use a little skew, Stanley knife, whatever. Well, if you want, you can get to that point and saw it. I don't, I just part it off, I'm not worried. That's going to be inside that, and it's going to all be painted. Finial's going to go in the bottom of there. Right, so now we're going to do, if you want to skip this one, well, if you got to this point, there's no point skipping it, is there? Because it's finished. We're going to do part 2, and that's going to be me turning the finial. It's going to go in the bottom. So it's going to be, as I've got one here I turned before, one of these, which is going to fit in the bottom, like that. Okay? But we're going to turn another one. And like I said, you ain't got to worry about that bottom because that fits in there. And there's no, you can't see where that hole was anyway. Right, see you in part 2.